Hi, my name is Jeff Pagano, and welcome to Harping on Rugby. This is our weekly newsletter called the 80 Plus column. Now, in case you missed it, check out our pod from last weekend. I had an all-provincial panel taking a look at Ireland's upcoming matches in the Autumn Nations series. I also asked the guests to harp on their own provinces in the URC so far this season. You'll find that one back on the YouTube channel feed, or you can get it with the full 80 Plus column, including all our other usual features like Troll Patrol, as well as a roundup of all the other major competitions in the world of rugby. That's all to be found on our website at harpingonrugby.blog. But for now, it's all about our feature known as the Front Five, which is a selection of 5 eye-catching, egg-chasing quotes and links from around the rugby media landscape. As you can see, I've got 5 headings lined up here. So let's crack on with this week's article, starting with this one from extra.ie, Martin Healy, and the headline reads, Ireland handed major injury blow just days before New Zealand showdown. Now, when you're watching this video, I'd say it's very likely the Irish team will be named to play the All Blacks. But I just want to highlight this is probably the big news during the week that when we were talking about the Autumn Nations series on our pods, we picked a team for the All Blacks and we had Tadhg in there. Now, to be fair, going by the Leinster selections over the previous weeks, it was the writing was kind of on the wall that maybe he wouldn't be involved, that he wouldn't make it in time. Hopefully he'll be back soon. But the fact remains, I mean, this is the nature of the game. And when you're talking, you're number one in the world, you've got to have backup. Players are going to get injured. You've got to have players to back them up. So, unfortunately, Ireland do have options. You've got, I think Finlay Bealham is more than capable of coming in and putting in a good 65, 70-minute shift. Cian Healy can play both sides of the front row, so he's an option. But when we were picking a team for the All Black, I think Cleland Scully, he had Tom O'Toole on the bench. So he's an option as well. So we've got things we can do there, and we have to be able to do that. We can't rely on our top players in every position. So hopefully Tadhg will be back soon, but also hopefully we'll be able to find the right way to replace him. So that's big news for our Ireland selections during the week. Okay, our second article comes from ruck.co.uk. Now, usually I have a feature called Clickbait of the Week, and usually this is the website I pick. A lot of their headlines are really clickbaity, and I highlight them to try to, sort of supposed to warn you against the clickbait. I sort of give away what the clickbait's trying to hide. But so I feel I kind of pick on them every week because they have a lot of examples of clickbait. So for this week, I'm going to include them with a regular article. This is written by Tom Sansom, and it features the All Blacks. The headline is Wallace Atiti breakthrough All Black praises guidance of Ardie Savea. And if you were watching the All Blacks last weekend when they beat England, you'll have noticed that he was basically running the show in many ways. Very strong carrier, really impressive performance. And in this article, he basically, and quite rightly, I mean, who wouldn't appreciate playing and getting advice from and just being around somebody like Ardie Savea? And for the quote in the article, he says, he's been a mentor for me, taking me under his wing and guiding me through this journey. And I'm truly grateful for what he's done for me. So, I mean, it's just it's a real good article about the player and the influence he's had from the players who've gone before him, and we'll see how he gets on against the Irish back row on Friday night. So that's Wallace Atiti, and that's our second article. Okay, third article comes from the website I call the Mothership. It's irishrugby.ie, and the headline reads, IRFU announces the return of a provincial championship. Now it's obviously the A teams for all the 4 provinces. Well, they're all called the A's. They're called the Eagles. They've announced a home and away series with a league table and maybe a trophy at the end of it, spreading throughout the season. It's starting, I think, in November, but it goes right through to May. And I think it's brilliant. And if you remember, we used to have the British and Irish Cup. There was English, Scottish, Welsh teams involved, and all the 4 provinces. I think Leinster won a couple of times. I think Munster won it once. But the main idea was you got the provincial sides got a chance to look at upcoming players and see them, playing in their provincial jerseys, in their positions, getting ready to, play in the URC team and the Champions Cup teams. So this is good for that, and it's obviously the other countries weren't able to, COVID didn't help. The other countries were doing their own thing with their own competitions. I think now the championship clubs in England are playing in the Premiership Rugby Cup, and I don't know what don't know what's going on with the Welsh and the Scots. They're doing their own thing. So we've got ahead and just come up with an interprovincial championship, and it's 6 matches for everyone. And I think that's a brilliant idea. So I'm all for that. The only drawback, of course, as it was with the British and Irish Cup, was that it's taking players from the All Ireland League sides, and that is not good. So they've got to find a way. The quote we've chosen from this article is, "It is anticipated that these fixtures won't clash with the Energia All Ireland League fixtures for the most part." Those words, "for the most part," doing a lot of heavy lifting there. I hope it doesn't affect them, because you want to see the All Ireland League teams keep their squads together as much as they can. But then again, the provincial sides and in turn the test side, they need to take precedence, I think, and I can totally see why they'll want an A side to get to know their systems and play within their jersey and stay within their squads, as opposed to going off to all different All Ireland League teams and playing there. So it's a balance that has to be struck. You think the season was long enough to be able to incorporate all these games, but we'll see what happens. But for the most part, I'm very happy to see this competition come in, and I'm looking forward to going to some of the games myself throughout the season. Okay, article number 4 comes from LeinsterRugby.ie's website. It's a little bit related to the previous one. I'll explain why in a second. The headline is, "We are very grateful to Tanya." That's a quote from Leinster Rugby CEO Shane Nolan. This is about Tanya Rosser, who was the coach of the Leinster women's team. She has been for the past, I think it was 3 years. She won back-to-back interprovincial titles in her time, so she leaves on a high. She's done great work with the team, brought on some great players, and you couldn't really ask more from the job. Now, the reason I say it relates to the previous article is because it's just a shame that I think the women's interpro for the past 3 seasons, they play one round robin, so they play everybody else once, 3 games, and then there's a final. So that's just 4 games. So she gets the squad together, it's 4 games, and that's it. The season's done, all finished, and that's in August, before the men have even kicked off. So it's like a shame. Now, of course, most of the women go on. They've announced today they're returning the Celtic Challenge after Christmas, but it's only 2 Irish teams again, the Wolfhounds, I think, and the Clovers. So the 4 provinces are going to be squashed together into two squads there. It's just unfortunate, but there is sort of a glimmer of hope in the quote I've chosen from this article. "We are also examining what the selection process is as we move towards professionalism for our senior women's team." So that's big. I mean, a senior women's professional team, if that's on the goal, if that's a goal in the coming years, then that's really good for all of rugby, all of Irish rugby, and hopefully all the provinces. Maybe down the line, this Celtic Challenge will have all 4 provinces in it. And hopefully, ideally, all professional, with a view to making it into a fully professional women's test team. So hopefully that's good. But anyway, back to this article quickly. There's quotes from Leinster Rugby CEO Shane Nolan. There's quotes from others. I noticed there isn't a quote from Tanya herself. So what I've done is I've gone onto Twitter. She replied to the article herself on Twitter or X or whatever. And she says, "I just wanted to say thanks to all involved. The past 3 years have been challenging but fun. A lot of learnings along the way." So thank you, Tanya, and best of luck with whatever you have going forward. Okay, we definitely wish you all the best. You had a really successful run at Leinster Rugby. Okay, 5th and final article comes from bbc.com. It's David Knox. Now, we've been doing the past few weeks, our 5th article is clickbait, but this week it's a different feature we call Hogg Watch. We've been following the progress of Stuart Hogg's legal issues. Okay, the reason I'm doing that is because I noticed a lot of articles which are somehow trying to maybe sanitize his situation, talking about his rugby and speaking of this court case as if it's some kind of a nuisance thing, but it's, I think we need to be able to highlight, we can talk about Stuart, what he does on the pitch, but we need to talk about this as well. He's a public figure, and when this particular issue he's in, I think it just needs highlighting as well. And What I've always said was he hadn't had his day in court up to now. So I was highlighting the articles, but also pointing out that he didn't have his day in court. Well, now he has. Okay. And in this court case, and this is the quote I've chosen from the article, Hogg admitted shouting and swearing and acting in an abusive manner towards his wife when he appeared at the Selkirk Sheriff Court. So he admitted to it. And what's going to happen now, he's going to be sentenced in December. So how that affects he's you know, as we all know, he came out of retirement and he went to Montpellier. He's playing there. Will he be selected between now and then? I don't know. We'll keep an eye out for that, and we'll keep an eye out for when he has a sentencing date in December. But that's our Hogg watch. We're keeping up with that, and I think it's important to highlight the two aspects of what he's doing on the pitch. But something like this, I don't think can be ignored. And now he's had his day in court, and he's admitted to it. So we just need to balance the two there, and that's what I'm trying to do. Okay, listen, that's enough of that. That completes our front five for this week. Remember, we do a lot of other regular features on that 80 plus column. You can get it all by just heading to our website at harpandrugby.blog if you're not there already. If you are, just scroll up and down the page, and you'll find all the other features. Next, of course, we'll be turning our full attention to our date with the All Blacks. For starters, we'll have our preview recording on Thursday with Kigo, so look out for that. And please be sure to subscribe to our channel, as well as all our other social media platforms. You can find those at linktree/harpandonrugby. Until next time, stay safe, everyone. Slán.